What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we are coming in with part 2 of a classic story. Not really classic, actually. It uploaded yesterday, so far from a classic, but an instant classic, if you will. Hope you guys do enjoy the continuation here. Drop a like if you do, and also turn on notifications if you guys haven't already. That way, you guys can get notified when I go live tonight. Hey, it's going to be a nice stream. We got lots of different strains of cookies in. We got London Pound Cake. Hey, we got Pink Rosé. Hey, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful set stream tonight. So make sure you guys tune in. And we got a little Jaeger flowing. But with that being said, let's dive right into it. So, there's a couple things that I want to touch on to kind of preface part 2 here. First off, there's one important detail that I completely forgot to mention in the end of part 1, and I got a lot of comments about this, and I realized that I probably should have touched on this because I was really baked when I recorded part 1, and it just never crossed my mind until it was far too late. So, a lot of people were asking me how I got my weed out of the trunk of the car, and it was kind of fucked. So, as the tow truck driver, and by the way, part 1 is linked in the description for all you guys who missed part 1. Oh, shit, excuse me. My lungs are freshly beaten, dude, if you know what I'm saying. But either way, so the tow truck driver, as we're getting off the highway and we're getting close to this gas station that ends up dropping me off at, I ask him, I'm like, hey, can I grab, some stuff out of the car? He's like, oh, the officer should have let you do that. I was like, oh, like, why not? Kind of a little irritated tone. I was like, dude, why the fuck not, And he's like, well, I'm not allowed to take the car off the lift until we get to the lot. And since the lot's closed, I can't let you get anything out of it at the lot. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, dude, my Loud and my PlayStation are in the car. Like, there's just no way. There's no way that I'm folding. Absolutely not. So I tell the guy, I think I concoct my little formula. I'm like, dude, I left my wallet in the car. I really need it, man. Like, listen, dude, I'll give you a couple bucks on my wallet just for the trouble of letting it down at the gas station, The guy kind of hustles. He's like, all right, man, fine, And then he pulls something really shady. As I got let out of the truck here, he lets the car down off the bed of his truck, right? And of course, I pop the trunk, I grab my bag, and I'm just like, I feel like he probably knew the wallet was not there. And once I opened the trunk, I think he definitely knew because I just pulled the wallet out of my pocket, which I had all along. And unfortunately, I only had 20s for the guy. So I just gave him a fucking 20. I was like, whatever, fuck off, dude. And after I give him this dub, right? I figured this is about to get a lot more expensive, so fuck it, dude. $20 in the grand scheme of what this is about to cost me is going to be nothing. But as I hand him this money, he gives me a business card to call to get my car out of impound. And he says, if you can't afford to get it out or don't want to pay, you could sign the title over to us and it would probably cover it. Probably. The fee to get my car out was like $400-something, right? It was ridiculous. It was actually an insane fee. But this motherfucker tried to tell me that my car was worth maybe $400. Excuse me, dude. It just got off the highway. I don't think anything on the highway is worth less than $1,000, okay? That's just facts. Sub $1,000 cars are usually not highway worthy, all right? But if listen, this car ain't worth less than a band. I'm not taking it. So I kind of just smile and nod. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, for sure. Hey, that sounds cool. Fuck yourself, dude. And he gets back in his truck, steals my goddamn Volvo, and drives off. I'm left sitting at this gas station with a surprising amount of crackheads for a really rural area. Probably because this was the only building that was lit up in, literally eyesight. Even the hotels looked pitch black over here, dude. And this was a very rural part of Illinois where there's no Uber or Lyft, right? So I'm sitting in this gas station with no ride, no picture ID on me because I didn't have a license and I didn't go get my state ID yet. And literally just a wallet, my phone, and a bag of clothes. And there's crackheads lurking outside the gas station. And I go sit down at this table inside this gas station. I'm just kind of sitting there. And I hit up Kevin. I'm like, hey, man, what's your ETA, dude? You got to get out here quick. And he's like, it's going to be a while, bro. Maybe an hour 45. And I came to learn that was definitely a very optimistic estimate on Kevin's part. It was more 2.5. It was more 2.5. That was a very optimistic guess. But I held on to dear hope. I was just like, bet, dude. And I'm sitting in this gas station. I realize really quickly, I look across the street, and something's going on with some other cops. There's a big semi-truck pulled over, but there's 3 cops pulling this guy over, right? And I know enough about legal trouble and committing crime to know that when police are done with like a traffic stop, they usually go like they like go do something, like they'll go like hit a gas station or some shit when they're done with something like that, right? And I'm sitting inside of the only gas station that's lit up within literal eyesight in any direction with a loud ass ounce that anyone that walked in could smell, and weed was still illegal. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking out the window. I'm just like, dude, if one of those cops comes in this gas station, I might be fucked. Like, genuinely, I might be double dip fucked, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like what am I gonna do? And I'm kind of tweaking. And I'm like, well, I could go put my bag in the bathroom, but then what if the cop goes to the bathroom and just takes the bag? I can't, watch him walk out with it and be like, hey, dude, can you get my PlayStation out of there? The weed's not mine, man. But that PlayStation, dude, that's mine, dude. I need that, man. Thank you, Like, he's not going. He's not folding for that hoopla, so I'd lose my PlayStation too. So I'm sitting there and I just realized that, like, I really just got to bite the bullet on this one. Like, there's no little hidden corner of this gas station with the attendant staring at me like she is that I can go hide in, right? So I just put my bag down by my feet, zip my bag up extra tight, and pray to fucking God, bro. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just playing games on my phone, and I quickly realized that my phone's going to die if I keep it up, and I can't do that, right? And I realized that I had the cord part of my charger, but no box, right? I didn't have the box. I only had the cord because I figured I'd always be charging it in my car when I'm listening to music. But now, I don't have a fucking car. So I'm like, all right, let's just go get a charger, right? So I go to the, or not go to the gas station. I get up, kind of walk around the gas station a little bit, looking for a charger. They have chargers. Of course, you guys know how gas stations are. They're $10 million. So this charger only came with the cord. I couldn't buy a box. And the cord and box charger combo was like $15 or something astronomical, dude. Like some ungodly amount of money that shouldn't been charged for a charger that was probably directly imported from Wuhan. Like, some dude on like a canoe probably rode this thing over a span of like 3 months, and it just now got here, right? Like this is how low quality this charger was, okay? So I pay $15 for the bunk charger, and I'm sitting there, and from my table, I kind of have a view of all these cops, right? And it looks like they're kind of finishing things up, and one of the cops leaves, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, bet, the cop left and he didn't come here. Dope, right? All fine and dandy. There's still 2 more cops with the guy, and they don't seem to look like they're done. It looked like the cops just didn't need backup, right? So I'm sitting there, maybe 45 minutes had gone by at this point, to an hour since I'd last called Kevin, right? So another hour and a half to hour 45 left of sitting in this gas station, right? A couple people had come in and out, but like basically nobody. Like, I was really alone in this gas station with this attendant, right? And at this point, the attendant asked me, she's like, are you like a runaway or something? Because she looks at me and it didn't hit me that, like, A, I don't look my age. I don't look 21 at all. And B, I'm sitting there with a bag of clothes. So, like, I definitely looked like I was running away from home. And I'm like, no, I have a house and everything. Like, I'm a grown man. I pay rent. My car just got impounded and I don't have a license. So I have to, I have to wait for my friend to come get me. And she's like, oh, how far is your friend? And I'm like an hour and a half. And she's like, oh, well, I hope he gets here. But she was pretty cool about it. So it was kind of interesting, though. After a while, there was like this little trust built where she would go out on her smoke breaks and leave me unattended in the gas station. I didn't take advantage of her trust. I did not take advantage of it. But if I was in high school, I definitely would have. But either way, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking. I'm just keeping a close eye on this cop situation. And finally, it looks like things are wrapped up. The second cop turns his lights off. And he pulls up to a gas pump. Like, literally, I don't know if I described this well enough, but, like, the cops were basically, like, essentially in the gas station. Like, the road that led to the gas station, the only thing it leads to is a gas station and a motel that looked abandoned. So, like, it literally, like, it was only 2 places they could go after finishing this stop. It was the gas station or on the highway, right? So, of course, one of the guys pulls up to the pump. And I see him pull up to the pump, and I'm like, okay. He's at the pump. Like, maybe he might not come in, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm just staring him down. I'm watching so intently as this guy pumps his gas. But I'm also thinking, like, I can't watch too intently or else, like, he might come in and think I'm a child in distress or something, you know? So I'm sitting there and I kind of, like, lean back in my seat. I kind of try to, like, hide the fact that I'm sitting here, you know, just make it look like maybe you can only see, like, a pair of legs or something, nothing more, so he doesn't come in. And luckily, the cop never came in. He ended up leaving, which was so fucking clutch. I was shitting bricks. So finally, after that cop leaves, I'm like, all right, now it's just time to wait for Kevin. I go outside, and I bust out my pack of cigarettes, my Marlboro Reds, and hey, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, so I don't want to get any more comments about that. Every time I say cigarette, I get like 30 comments. They're like, Goblin, dude, can't smoke those, man. I'm gonna unsub. You're kind of a piece of shit. Hey, listen. I don't smoke them anymore, all right? So I better gain 30 subs for that, all right? But either way, so I go outside to smoke this cigarette, and almost like a movie scene, this crackhead pops out from the side of the gas station, like behind the ice cooler. It almost seemed like the ice cooler's to my right. I'm sitting on a bench, and this crackhead just literally pops out the fucking cut out of nowhere. And he's like, hey, man, do you have a cigarette? And he had, like, a very distinctly, like dirty country accent. Like his throat sounded very dry and, like, dirty almost. Like, hey, you know? And, like, it was a very, like, distinct southern accent. And I was like, dude, we're in central Illinois. Like, where did this guy even hitchhike from, dude, to get here, you know? And I'm just trying to get this guy the fuck away from me. But I know if I say no, this is like the kind of situation where things would get ugly and he'd like get away with it, you know? Like I'm looking around, I'm like, dude, if this guy just decided to like rob me right now, like literally I'm the only one that would even know, you know? Like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to bum this guy square. So I bum him a cigarette. I swear to God, I've never smoked a cigarette this quickly in my life. I think the adrenaline was pumping because I wasn't trying to sit next to this crackhead and smoke a cigarette. Because after I handed him his square, he didn't leave. Like he stood there and looked like he wanted to sit next to me on the bench. And I'm like, okay, dude. Hey, I don't know if I signed up for this. This guy had like 2 teeth in his whole library of teeth, like literally 2 of them. So I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm trying to sash with this guy right now, right? So I take my cigarette and I'm trying not to put it out, right? Like I'm trying to like be very like careful about how I go about this as to not piss the cracked up junkie off, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna like finish the cigarette as quick as I can. So I rip the fuck out of it. I swear to God, I like 3-hit the last like half of this cigarette and throw it out and went back inside. And after that, I vowed to myself, I am not going outside until my ride is here. There's just no fucking way. So that's exactly what I did. I sat in there. I went on my phone. I had my charger hooked up, so it was actually kind of nice. I played a little bit of old school RuneScape on my phone even. Sitting there grinding, making some gains, you know. And finally, Kevin pulls up. So Kevin picks me up. I hop in his car. I dap him up. I'm like, dude, thank you so much for fucking picking me up, bro. He's like, yeah, dude, my dad's probably going to be a little pissed because I stole his car, but he might not even know. I don't even know if he woke up, right? So I'm like, bet. So I hop in Kevin's car. We ride back up to Kevin's crib, and I spend the night there. Now, by the time we got back to Kevin's crib, it was late, dude, because by the time I even got picked up, it was like 10:30 or some shit. Like, it was late, and we still had another couple hours to go. So by the time we got back, it was like 1 in the morning, 12:30, right? And we were slumped. So I'm like, well, hey, dude, I'll smoke you out heavily. So we sesh hard as fuck, right? We smoke up harder than we've ever seshed before. And it's finally, I'm relieved. I'm like, dude, I'm out of there. But after we sesh, we go back inside his house, right? Because you can't smoke inside of his house. We smoke in his garage, right? So his dad wouldn't get pissed off, right? And we go back inside of his house, and we're chilling a little bit, and we're chatting. And I just kind of realized, like, we have to go back down there to get my car, right? Like we have to find a way back there, or else it's just going to keep getting more expensive every day, and I still have court, right? So, what I ended up doing is the next morning, I went to bed pretty much immediately after the smoke sesh. Like, I just kind of discussed with Kevin a little bit. I set my alarm on my phone as loud as I could, and I literally slept on top of my phone because I'm a heavy sleeper, and so heavy that I actually sleep through alarms quite commonly. So I literally put my phone up to my fucking ear while I slept, so the alarm would just fuck my eardrums when I woke up. And surely it did. I woke up on time. I called an Uber. I hopped in the Uber. I went straight to court. Didn't even do shit. Didn't even fix my hair or anything. I was like, dude, at least I'm in attendance for this court date, right? Went to this court date. It was no big deal. It wasn't like an urgent court date, but it was one of those things where, like, if I didn't attend, then it would have gotten urgent very quickly. But, like, this was like a follow-up on, like, something that I already got, like, formally charged with, if I remember correctly, right? This was like a satisfactory termination of, like, court supervision of some shit, right? So I get to my court date, and Kevin has work. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go crash at Kevin's house. So I hit up my mom, and I kind of explained the situation. I'm like, hey, you mind if I come stay, right? And the reason I wasn't staying with my mom the whole time is because she had work and shit to do, and I wanted to be smoking weed, right? I didn't want to do that at my mom's house because she hates it, and it would piss her off. So I was like, well, if I want to party all fucking week, I'll stay with the homie so I can party all week and, not piss off my mom when she has to wake up at like 6 a.m. for work, right? Because then listen, I grew up experiencing that wrath, all right? I've had enough of it. I'm a grown man now. I don't need any more of it, all right? I've had 18 years of it. Enough is enough. More than that, dude. It was 20 fucking years before I moved out. Jesus, fuck. 2 decades of that wrath. No more, dude. So, either way, I hit up my mom and I kind of explained to her what's going on. I'm like, hey, can I just get a ride? Can I get an Uber back to your place from court? I'll come in, say hello if you're home. If not, I'll say hi to the dog and probably just like take a shower and, Uber back to Kevin's when he's off work, right? My mom's like, yeah, that's cool. So I Uber home, say hi to my dog who I miss very dearly, quite a bit. I still miss that fucking dog. And said hello to him. Got showered, and then came the part of formulating the plan to actually get the car back. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say right now that I wasn't expecting this video to be as long as it was, this story to be as long as it was. So I know I said this was going to be a 2-part, but this is going to have to be a 3-part. There's no way I can fit what's about to happen into part 2. It would be over 30 minutes. Like, I'm not even halfway done with the rest of the story, right? So, like, we have to chop it here, or else it's going to get hectic. So, we're going to leave it at that. Got back to my mom's house after court. All went well. And now it was time to formulate a game plan to somehow get the fuck, or hitchhike, whatever we had to do, down 2 hours south to get my car out of impound. And Kevin had to come with me because he had a license, so he had to drive. So, it was a fun little trip. And, hey, not a sober one either. Hope you guys enjoyed part 2. Be ready for part 3. We're going to be dropping part 3 tomorrow, actually. All of these parts are just going to be back to back to back. So be ready for bangers. Hey, see you guys tomorrow with part 3. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.